Welcome to another segment of my YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have Pastor Karen Stevenson here. And this video really is to educate you about COVID-19. COVID-19 is real. It can happen to any of us. One thing we know, it does not discriminate. The rich, the poor, anyone gets COVID-19. Pastor Karen will talk about her story. She was one of those individuals here in the Turks and Caicos Islands who contracted COVID-19 and spent quite a number of days in the hospital. And I want Pastor Karen to tell us about it. Pastor Karen, before you go, just introduce yourself, who you are.
Okay, my name is Pastor Karen Stevenson, Hicks actually, and it's good to be here.
Thank you, Pastor Karen. Now, Pastor Karen, you experienced COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have symptoms?
No, I didn't. It started actually, I would go from the day.
Sure.
The first day was Monday, like the middle of February. I was about doing my little chores and stuff because that's my day off.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurants closed. And so I was at the laundromat. And I noticed that when I tried to lift the basket, I couldn't lift the basket.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to fold my clothes at the laundromat before I go home. And so I couldn't even lift the clothes. I couldn't even lift a piece of clothes.
Wow.
And I was like, what's going on with me? Because I didn't have any cold or anything. And then when I started to walk, I couldn't hardly walk.
Really?
And so I managed to drag the clothes to the car and I drove straight to the hospital. I like doctors.
I don't.
I go straight to the doctor. And as soon as I go on there, they ask me if I was coughing. I tell them I had a little cough last night, but it subsided and I wasn't coughing anymore. And first thing they did for the drugs is to shove that thing up my nose.
I hate that.
That threw me right off for a loop. And what I don't really like about it is, besides what you're going through and in your mind, there's so much standoffish, because once I guess they knew beforehand that something was going on. So they took me and sent me in one place by myself.
Oh, in isolation?
In isolation. And so, then when they came and they had on all these things on their feet and on their head and
protective equipment.
Yes, all over. And so it made you feel so bad. Because you didn't make up your mind for this, because you didn't know you had COVID. And so they ran a test on me, and while I was there at the hospital, I began to have breathing issues. I was breathing short, and they just sent me home. Tell me they'll get back to me with the results.
Oh, okay, because the results didn't come back the same day.
No, the results came. That was Monday. Got the results back early Wednesday morning. And when they called me to give me the results, when the lady called me, she says, "You don't sound good." I said, "I don't feel good." She says, "You're not breathing right." I say, "No, I'm having breathing issues." So she said, "You need to come to the hospital. I need to bring you into the hospital." She says, "Who in you lives where you at?" And I told her, "It's just me." So she said, "Okay, that's dangerous based on what I'm hearing." So she said, "I'm sending the ambulance for you." I say, no, I don't want to go in the ambulance. She said, "Yes, you need, the ambulance is going to come for you." And by the way, I sent the ambulance for me. And by the time I finished talking to her and the ambulance came, I couldn't walk.
Wow. So when they called you that, she told you it was positive?
Yeah, she told me I was positive. But I already knew for all that stuff I was going through. I knew something was definitely wrong. And the ambulance came and got me, took me to the hospital. And they put me in one of the back rooms. And they didn't have no space. on the floor for me. So I spent a night there in emergency. But they treated me well,
Okay.
you know. And at that time I was so sick. If I was on a table, I wouldn't know.
Wow.
Because it came on very fast
Suddenly.
and aggressive.
Mm.
Very fast and aggressive. And I spent one night there, and of course I was on oxygen. As soon as the ambulance drivers came, they put me up on oxygen. Because my oxygen was very, very low.
Wow.
But if one thing I could say about COVID is that COVID is more than something physical. It is something spiritual as well. Because you really have to fight. You have to fight to stay alive. You have to literally fight. You know that scripture, well, you know, Pastor can go to the scripture. You know the scripture that says, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are pure, think on those things. You have to literally think that you're going to come out, and your spirit man, as when they talk about building your immune, that's one thing. But your spirit man needs to be built.
You're right.
Your spirit man has to be on top of your physical man to really push through.
Yeah. Because you easily could give up, right?
Yes, you can easily give up. Because I was thinking to myself before I came here, and Drex, I might as well admit, I almost called you a few times to tell you I don't want to do it.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
And I'll share with you what made me do it.
Okay.
It says, I like to read John Maxwell's book. And it's the book called Dare to Dream. And it says, what people make you feel special? And I thought about it. I said, Drax really do make me feel special. And his wife.
Oh, thank you.
And these individuals, they inspire something within you. And it says, what is it? And it says, what moment of personal triumph do you remember? Take a moment to recall it and keep going. And that's what caused me not to go. I said, okay, I will continue. And of course, the next day, they took me up on the floor, and that was when the battle started.
Wow. All by yourself?
All by myself. All by myself. I had a phone, but I couldn't talk because my breath was so short and I was breathing. And one of the things with COVID as well, Brother Drex, is the chest. You have pain in your chest. It's like your chest is literally ripping apart.
Wow.
And the little bit of breath that you have, it pains to even breathe.
Wow.
To even breathe, it pains. I mean, literally pains. There's no taste, there's no smelling, and there's no appetite. None whatsoever.
Wow, I see why some people die, because
yes,
you know,
it takes a lot.
You can't eat, you know.
You have no appetite, no taste, no smell. And then they're drawing blood from you every morning. And I was in the hospital for 12 days.
Wow.
Every morning. And you get 2 shots every day. 2 needles. And I am terrified of needles.
Yeah, me too.
2 needles every day to stop the blood clot. To stop your blood from clotting.
Okay.
And the reason why they take the blood test from you every day is to see what's going on with your blood. Because it is really that kills you. And so, they told me that I can take it in my arm or in my stomach. I said, put it in my stomach. I can't do it twice a day. And so, my advice is if you have to take any shots, the stomach, you don't feel it.
Oh, really?
No. You don't feel it. It is, you know, when you get the vaccine, when you really feel a little sting, it's already finished. Same thing.
Okay.
And so with the stomach, it was easier putting it in the stomach every day. And then you have the IV, which is steroids.
So you were on IV for those 12 days?
Mhm.
Because you can, okay.
Yeah, it was actually medicine that they were pouring into me all day.
Because you couldn't even have no food.
No, they brought food to me, but I didn't eat it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any appetite. And I don't want to say I don't ever go to hospital food.
I know.
Oh, I never wanted to eat, even if I had an appetite.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember.
No, you say it's there 12 days on IV. So each day, did you feel like it was getting better or?
No, it keep going. I guess that's why I wasn't there for all those days, because I wasn't getting better.
At one point, did you think you were gonna die?
I wanted to.
You wanted to die?
I wanted to.
Because of what you're going through?
What I was going through, and when I first started, remember I told you it is something spiritual as well?
Yes.
Well, a couple days before that, I had an emotional
Experience?
disorder, whatever you should say, experience. And so, because I thought about it, I did everything that should have been done to prevent me from getting.
So you was wearing the mask,
I was wearing a mask, I was washing my hands.
practicing the distancing.
And then I was taking vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and they have this bush, I don't remember the name of it, with the purple flowers,
No, I don't know that one.
that they said was good. I was drinking that. I was drinking Cerecy, and then I was taking all sorts of stuff. I think I was taking too much things and too cautious. And I wasn't going anywhere from work home. No gatherings at all. I did no gatherings from March. And I ended up with COVID. And one of the things, even after you have called me and I began to think about it, is that we open up doors in our lives.
We do.
And so I think a door in my life was open at that time, emotionally, and it gave COVID a chance to just come in and wreak havoc. Because it happened so quick and so fast. I didn't have no cold,
No
nothing,
symptoms.
no symptoms, just direct hit. And I believe this COVID is more than what we know, because for something to shut down the whole world, literally stop everything, it has to be more than.
It's a bigger picture.
Yes, it is a bigger picture, and I believe that with COVID, and like I said earlier that I wanted to, and then of course I lost my husband 4 years this year. In September make 4 years.
Oh, very well already.
And yes, and I was just saying to myself, just let me go.
Wow.
I was there. And I wanted to just go, and I told the Lord, I said, there's nothing here, just trouble. And I know right then I had an experience that night. The Lord just told me no,
it's not your time.
fight. And I began to pray, and persons that would call me, my sisters, my friends, would call me and encourage me, especially my daughter in Freeport. And I remember the night when I was fighting to go. They called me and they said, you was fighting so hard, you working so hard tonight, because you wanted to go. They knew that I wanted to leave. But Drex, the feeling was so bad. It was.
You couldn't take it anymore.
It was really bad. I mean, if you breathe, it pains. I mean, a pain that you can't even explain. The pain in your chest. And then to top it all off, I had underlying conditions, which is I've been diagnosed with an enlarged heart.
Wow.
And I have been diagnosed with pressure. And so those two things were totally against the breathing thing.
Yeah. It could make it worse.
Yeah, so my pressure was high, And then my oxygen was really bad. Every time I got tired of the thing in my nose, and I would take it out. And when the nurse come inside, she says, you see where your oxygen is, you need to put it back. And so I had to put it back, and I think that some of the things would really kind of set me back a bit, because I take it out my nose because it was very uncomfortable.
Wow.
And but God has been extremely good.
Absolutely.
He has been extremely good to me. And the doctors confirm that for me. They say, you're a fighter. I say, no, God. God. Yeah, because I was in there for 12 days.
Wow.
And I remember one time that Joey called and he said, why are you in there so long? You know. I said, well, I'm sick. Of course, I couldn't even talk to him. He was just texting.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't come and see me.
You know, visitors are allowed.
No, no visitors. Not even inpatients. No one.
Only the nurses,
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah, because I remembered Jody had spoken to Dr. Perry as to what was going on, because she couldn't get any answers. I couldn't tell her what was going on, and she couldn't talk to the doctors. And she spoke with her, and she couldn't come into my room because she was not my physician. So she spoke to me out of the door and told me to take up my phone, and I was able to converse with her.
Dr. Perry?
Dr. Perry. Because she couldn't come inside. Because
So,
whoever's assigned to you, only those persons
could come there.
can come inside.
Wow.
And it's like you have a disease that is beyond ever. And so besides the pain and the discomfort, there's that mind thing. Because even after COVID was over and I came back home, they had put me in isolation for another week, even though I was in hospital for 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. After 12 days.
I was in isolation for another week home.
Okay.
I couldn't have any visitors. Because they would call and check on you to make sure you were okay. So I had no mingling with nobody. And one of the things that happens with you in your mind is that you think everybody knows. And so when you decide to go out, you're just so withdrawn, you know, because there's a stigma.
It is.
And so, you know, there's so much you're battling with. Besides the isolation, you're battling with how people are going to look at you and stuff like that. And then, you know, I'm in the restaurant business, and so I'm wondering about the repercussions from that. And that was one of the things, even before I went on Facebook, because I felt the push to share, but I didn't want to. I pushed it back a lot because I know how people think, you know.
Yeah.
But I actually stayed home for 2 weeks after I came out of the hospital, before I even went.
Just to be in the clear zone.
Yeah, to be on the safe side and make sure I didn't have any more symptoms. But one thing I want to say, when I came out of the hospital, Deidre Gray, she's one of ADA's representatives. She called me and she said, Pastor Karen, you're home? And I said, yes. She said, oh, you sound. She said, I'm coming to bring you something. I have 2 things I want to bring for you. I'm going to drop it at your door and then you can pick it up. It was like the second day after I came out. But she just asked me how I was. I told her I couldn't walk. I was just holding on things and walking around. Much pain in my legs. And for someone who has been poisoned with fish, I had fish poisoning before, so I know the feeling. It's a lot of pain in your joints.
Wow.
You know, your joints, your leg and your arm joints and stuff. And she bought the shield, the ADA shield for me, and a bottle of
Aleve?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my wife does that too.
Yes, yes. This, the first set I had at the beginning of COVID, she bought that for me, and that helped me. Because,
Really?
yes. It gives you a lot of energy.
Okay.
And within 2 days, all that pain went out of my legs.
Wow, very
And
smart.
when I came home, I bought at least 20 medication. I was like taking at least 40 pills stuff for the day.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So when I actually Jody brought me home from the hospital, and must be on the second day or the fourth day, she called me. She said, "Mommy, how you doing, really?" I said, "'Cause you didn't look good when I brought you home." I said, "You should see me now." Because I done start taking the shield, and I was up and moving and doing stuff.
Praise God.
So, shield with God works.
That's good.
It works. And I've been taking it ever since. And it has been helping me to gain my strength.
Glad to hear that.
Because that's one thing that COVID does. It zaps your strength and your energy.
So have you, I noticed on your Facebook page you mentioned you're considering taking the vaccination. Have you decided to proceed with that?
Oh yes. Actually, I took because I had to wait 30 days after. Yeah. After I came out of the hospital.
So having COVID caused you to take the vaccination?
Yes, because I had no intentions. I had no intentions of taking that vaccine. But after my experience with COVID, how much vaccine you got for me? Give it to me. I don't want COVID.
Yeah.
Anything besides COVID. There's no.
Was that bad?
No. There's no. That's really. This is so real and so serious.
I believe you.
It is so serious. I don't want that again. No.
You don't want no one else to have that.
And I don't want no one else to get it, and that's why I risk myself and going on Facebook and telling persons about it and take the vaccine. Even I just took it on Wednesday. Wednesday I took it. And so I have my next dose at the end of the month. But I had some little stuff after the vaccine, actually quite a bit of stuff, till I felt like I was having COVID again.
Oh wow.
But it was nothing to be compared to what COVID does.
Wow. Sounds like a horrible experience you went through.
After experience, I've never had asthma in my life. But when I came home from the hospital, they had given me some ventilator, ventilator, I don't know what they call those stuff. It's like what asthma people take. And so, because even now, sometimes in the night, I have shortness of breath. Like
Since that incident?
Yes, like I'm having asthma. And so I have the little pumps that I use. So, besides going through COVID at the time, I know persons who have actually had end up with sugar and other stuff that COVID brings on. And so for me,
because COVID, it interferes with your immune system.
With your immune system
And you become weak.
and your organs.
Yeah, you become weak, and
Yes.
so it affects other things in your body.
Right. I remember reading up on it, and it says that if you're going to take a cancer test for the breast, don't take it until probably maybe 2-3 months, because it will show up positive.
Really?
Yes. And so even now, I just have like asthma attacks, and I've never had asthma in my life.
Wow.
So I am now
I'm sorry you're going through that.
on pumps, on asthma pump.
How often do you have those attacks?
Last week I had it probably for 3 nights.
Oh wow.
It will literally wake you up. Literally wake you up. Shortness of breath. And so when I spray the pump in my mouth, it helps me to breathe normal. So I just keep that in my bed.
Wow. Well, Pastor Karen, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, sharing this wonderful story, and I really appreciate you doing this because you are inspiring others. You know, a lot of people are going through it, their family and friends are going through it, they don't know what to do, and you would depend on God.
There's one thing I missed
Sure.
that I should mention. Don't stay home too long if you feel like you have COVID, because I went to the hospital Monday, and by Wednesday I had wait a minute now.
What's that?
I have it on Facebook.
Oh,
Begins with Ann.
I don't know.
Pneumonia.
Oh, pneumonia. Okay,
Pneumonia.
okay,
I
okay.
always try to.
You experienced pneumonia within those 3 days when you saw him?
Yes. When I went when the ambulance came for me,
Mm.
and when they took me in the hospital and they ran tests, I was badly infected with pneumonia. Badly infected. And
Wow.
my lungs was badly damaged. So don't stay home and try to treat yourself. If you're sick, go to the doctor and let them check you out. Make sure you're good to go home. Because sometimes you wait too late, and that's when a lot of people really expires, because when they go, it's just too late.
Yeah.
But I could add that, the person that called me encouraged me to go, because I did not want to go in the hospital, because I know I was going to have no visitors. I could not have known anyway.
Right.
But pneumonia is a part of COVID.
Yeah. You're in a better place in the hospital. You're under, professional care.
They check. They check you often.
Yeah. It's a lonely place, but you're under
Yeah.
professional care.
But to be honest, for how sick you are, you don't even know if you need visitors. Because your mind is not there, and then because I know for at least 5 days, I was just out of it.
Yeah. You probably shouldn't have visitors anyway,
No.
because you don't want them to
And you can't talk.
contract. Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. I remember missing you from the restaurants. I go to your place
Yeah.
almost every day for lunch.
Yeah.
And I say, Pastor Karen ain't here. And I call and you say, you're in the hospital with COVID. I say, Joanna, Pastor Karen is COVID. They say, wow. Because,
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that, everything is well with you now.
Yeah.
And we want to give
Everything
God
is
praise. And I know this will be a great help to others watching this video, that they'll, be full of hope. Because sometimes when you have COVID, people somehow think that's the end of you.
Yeah.
It's like they want to write you up right away.
Exactly.
It's like it's some, I know it's a big thing.
Yes. Yes.
But
But
it's
there is healing.
Yes.
There is deliverance.
Yes.
And you just have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Think on things that are pure,
Yeah.
things that are good,
Absolutely.
good report,
Mhm.
and watch God work it out. And make sure you got some people praying besides those doctors giving you all that medication. Prayer works.
It does. Absolutely.
It works. Yeah.
Well, thanks again. And for those of you watching, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have any symptoms, or you don't have any symptoms, I encourage you, to, get frequent check-up from the medical doctor. At least once a month, you probably should get tested for COVID to be on the safe side, because you might have it and you realize you have it. Because the experiences that Pastor Karen has mentioned, I don't think anyone wants to go through that. I mean, I go to dialysis 3 days a week and they stick me with a needle and I don't like it. I don't like it. So imagine what she went through, and it's almost given up. So the best thing to do is to make sure you check yourself out with a medical professional to make sure that you don't have it, and if you do have it, get the help that you need. Thanks again. Have anything else you want to add?
No, that's
All right. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day.